Hey guys, so blessing.
Tamagotchi. Recording for Giz the Lord from Hungary for a caster role in the draft tournaments. So the setup is that we have basically no information, we can only watch the YouTube video. So I do not have access to the deck lists, I do not have access to moving the camera around freely, looking around, so I'll be confined to whatever is on this video. This is you can see the title, the Mainline JJ Ancient Weeklies. I think this was the first grand final between JJ, Peshak and Tamagotchi. We have Tamagotchi on the bottom side, on the upper side we have JJ. And just taking a quick look at the hero roster here, we see one pretty average hero composition and kind of a good composition. If we check out JJ's heroes, he has two basic black heroes in Debbie. Well, they are black. The basic black hero Debbie is usually, I think, around the mid-level in range of black heroes. There are many weaker and a few stronger heroes, but Debbie is completely okay to play as even a 2 or sometimes even a 3 of in a game, because she is very impactful and she can make you just snowball out of the game super easy with her 9 attacks and the +3 reach with the no accident cards. And the more Debbie you have, the more no accidents you'll have. He has a sniper, an obvious late game hero. Super good to control a game and just close it out around round 7, round 8. Mana turn 8, mana turn 7. And the two green heroes are the Treant, which is one of the best ones, I think. I would agree. I would argue the other guy is weaker than Farven. The 410 base hero, I think, is better than this. What's his name? I can't recall his name. This guy. But Treant is definitely good. Now the upside on JJ's, just to briefly talk about his deck, is that he has a 3-2 setup and consistency is key. I don't think we have seen enough artifact games and high level tournaments to actually have a grasp on whether having a splash or having a 3-2 setup is better. Splash is when you have a one-off color of any different color that you don't have, for example 2 red, 2 black, and you splash in a blue, which means you will have usually super good quality of blue cards, but you can be denied super easily playing those, especially if you splash blue, because blue is super squishy. Something has happened here. What's happening here? What? Let's refresh the page. Technical difficulties. Why can't we? Well, bear with me here, guys. I'll have to fix this. I don't know what the deal is with this. Mr. YouTube, come on. Okay, it loads. So quickly talk the other guy's Tamagotchi's setup. He has a splash hero of Leech, which is an exceptionally good card. He has a really good stat line with 5-9. Ability is arguably, I mean, it's very situational. Sometimes his ability is that you can sacrifice a unit and then draw 1 or 2 cards if you have 6, if that unit that you sacrifice had 6 or more attacks. Sometimes you really do need the units to block or push damage, sometimes you don't, so it's very situational. But his signature card, Chain Frost, which 7 mana, gives you initiative and deals 3 damage 8 times randomly, chaining, jumping left or right. It's a very difficult card to play correctly sometimes, but sometimes it's just super easy because you just basically kill everything around. It's weak to armor because it has no piercing damage. And the 2 red heroes is Timber Saw, which with the new changes, the changes in this, I don't even know if this game was played after the patch or before the patch, when Timber Saw was tweaked a little, and he gains armor for each of its attackers, and he reduces armor for anyone he attacks. And Legion Commander, the other one. So Timber Saw is middle of the road. His signature card is definitely better than the base red hero Keith, which is a 5 mana, 1 damage, 1 armor. It's really underwhelming. Legion Commander, on the other hand, synergizes well if you have more than 1 red heroes, because Duel, his or her signature card, to just basically have a 1v1 battle is super useful to utilize in any lane, but you can only use it on red heroes, so you need more than 1 red hero usually. But she's top 2, definitely top 2, top 3 for sure. It's Bristleback. Between Bristleback X and Legion Commander, they are pretty close, especially with X nerfs. And the 2 green heroes, Lycan, super good for pushes. Early game, usually the +2 attack to the creep is usually good. Except now, if you, I mean, even now it's good because it does 4 damage to the tree end, but it allows the creeps to one-hit any other opposing creep or any 2-3 drop, or even 4 drops. Usually 4 drops have 4 health, except for the Satyr Duelist, so it's very useful. And also his signature card, the Wolf, the 3/3 that gets +1 attack, +2 health every time it attacks. It can really snowball out of control. And Omni Knight, his first hero, that comes next round, is just super good. He has amazing stats at 5/12, if I remember correctly. His ability is just sustained forever because he can heal himself or anyone for 3 health. I think for 3 health every other turn. Super useful. And his signature card, which you just put it on a green hero and everyone in that lane will have a huge regen bonus to them. So basically he can just tank a lane on his own with a few creeps. It's amazing. So let's jump right into this game. Now the question I always ask myself: do I play Awareness's Blessing on the first round? It's difficult to decide because you want the +2 attack to tick away. Usually green heroes have a lot of 4 mana cards that they want to play, so if you don't play it on 3, you're never gonna play it on 4 or even 5. So yeah, I agree with playing it right here for future benefits, not to mention that this is the only way to kill the creep because it had 2 armor. But even if it didn't have. Yeah, and the JJ develops the the dodgy guy. What's the name, man? It develops a creep for extra damage and future use of its utility. So let's move on. I try not to pause too much, but since I'm alone, I'll sometimes do. Well, I have to also watch the time because I have to cut the videos short. Anyways, he plays Mercenary Exiles and he gets a lucky arrow, 25% of the arrow happening. This card, usually Mercenary Exiles, better played on further down the right because you can just give them money, feed them money, and as you acquire money throughout the round, if you put him on the right side, you can just bump him immediately. Yeah, nothing really happening first round. No hero kills. JJ has the crucial 3 gold, so he can afford a 3 gold item. It can be very impactful on the second round. Let's see. Omni Knight should come down either second or third lane. Definitely not the first. I mean, you can even consider first lane because you have no green cards. But I would definitely say second or third lane. I usually like to put them on the second lane if I can, because the more to the right a lane is, the less important and impactful it is, especially when it comes down to same turn lethal. You want to have lethal on the first and the second lane. And they have 2 versus 2 on the third lane. Interesting arrows on the first lane. Let's see the draw. And this is the Omni Knight's signature card, All Seeing One's Favor, that will give you massive boost, regen. Actually, yeah, we can't really see the other players' cards. He has Selfish Cleric, 2 Selfish Clerics, awesome green cards. Rumusk Blessing. You could consider putting it on another lane, but I don't recall any other lane would need it. Yeah, maybe the hero one. But this is something if I could control, I could check it out. It's really hard to call it out like this. All Seeing One's Favor. Maybe he wants to save it for the third lane, but he has black cards that he can play on the third lane. Oh no, he only has the red hero. Okay, so his options are really limited. He's pretty unlucky that he didn't really draw any red cards. But this is also a problem when you have 2-1 setup. You get sometimes really unlucky with the draw, and then you can just lose the game because you don't draw the early game cards for the colors that you have on board, which we are kind of seeing here. He had to pass the first lane, and he doesn't really have a play here either. Yeah, he doesn't have a play here either. Tamagotchi. I'm kind of doing it from just Tamagotchi's perspective because it's really hard to see the other guy's card. He passes here. I think this is a bluff pass. He wants to see what the other guy does and then react to it. This is something very important that has high risk but also potentially high reward. Here I would argue that it was kind of useless because you want to have that extra regen down and you don't want your opponent to pass it back to you. But he did it anyway, and his opponent played a card, and he could eventually play his All Seeing One's Blessing. He buys a cloak, Stonehall Cloak, third round, super good. And the Traveler's Cloak. Cloaks are always nice. We see the sniper going on the first lane. You usually want to have your sniper on the first lane, on the left lane, because you can snipe downwards to the right, and it's very good. When you do that, you deny 2 rounds of the hero that you kill. If you put it on the right, however, and you kill a hero to your left, then that hero is basically already did his turn and only missing 1 turn, and then can be redeployed immediately. And Lich going on the first lane as well. Obviously you want to battle hard, the hardest for the first lane. Let's see his draws. Awareness is Blessing and Chain Frost. Was it Chain Frost or Whirling that? This is when the co-commentator could help me out, yeah? So, interesting arrows again. A heal coming down on Treant by JJ. And a grazing shot into the third lane to kill the Debbie. And a huge Armed Rebellion. When you can play Armed Rebellion on 3 creeps, then it's already a really good arm. When you play it on 4, it's amazing, especially that it gives you double lethal and 2 heroes, which he can obviously save, but you don't know that he has 2 health items, so it's obviously a good play. We go to the mid lane, which seems JJ has given up. With the Keenfolk turret, he ensures that the Mercenary Exile lives and also can deliver damage and sacrifices all his gold for it, and it's an interesting call this early on. I'm not 100% that it's a good call, but I mean, we'll see. He has control on the second lane with just 1 hero, which is very important that you only have 1 hero down and you have complete control. So you have all the hero resources to put them in the other 2 lane to fight the good fight. And we see the Omni Knights Blessing saving the creep. They're not dying to the Selfish Cleric. So yeah, he has now 6 gold. He can buy the healing potion. I mean, definitely he has Helm of the Dominator in his item deck. I'm not sure if giving all the money to the Exile is the best call, but it's really hard. It's a long thought process to figure it out. Here we have Sniper with the initiative and his hero ability. Deal 5 normal damage, just taking out Lycan there. It's huge. It's actually huge. It denies every play option from Tamagotchi. He has the Lich. I mean, this is the problem with Chain Frost here. Next round he'll be able to Chain Frost. He will probably take down Sniper, but the Chain Frost will be super ineffective because the creeps will just soak up all the damage. You see the 3 armor on the creeps. It's Chain Frost, his biggest opponent is armor. So his opponent, well, he has no accident, untested ground. He can just push for damage, I think, with untested ground. No, he had no mana. I think he just decided not to play anything. Interesting. Maybe he wants to commit. Yeah, he wants to commit it mid lane fighting and completely forgetting about the Keenfolk turret. There, no accident, granting the kill on Timber, so which then gets denied by the chain, so reducing Debbie's and his neighbor's attack damage by 2 and armor by 1. So it looks like Tamagotchi in good shape, but the problem, you see, and this is the tricky part with Artifact, it looks like he's in good shape, but if you check out the deployment, comes a black and a green hero next round for JJ, while Tamagotchi has nothing coming in. So it's absolutely not 100% right now. I'm actually gonna cut the video here because I only have 20 minutes each, so we'll continue in the next one.